So I'm needing to write a diagnosis expansion, so I thought I'd record myself so that you can see how I go about doing it. This is just in real time. I just woke up this morning, found out a diagnosis expansion was needed, and I thought, oh, I've got to write this. I'm going to jump on and record it so it can be used for training purposes. So first thing I'm going to do is share my screen so you can see where I start. And this is just starting raw from the beginning. So patient that I'm going to be is this patient here, Miss Erica Jackson. So she has accepted condition of strain, sprain, radiculopathy, disc disorders, all kinds of stuff, and even hip issues. But she just had a recent MRI, which showed a labral tear in her hip, and we want to add that as a diagnosis. So we're gonna start that. So obviously I'm gonna create for our medical provider here, diagnosis expansion. So create note. Okay, so we've got that started. This is where we'll start here. So we're going to go to our AI wizard, and I'm just gonna, she's in here because I wrote her original in here. So I'm going to find Miss Jackson in here, her original narrative. Here she is. Okay. So all of her information is in here. Her work I did on her original narrative to write it, and when she first came to our office, but also for some, she had a reevaluation. So she presented for a reevaluation. I put that information in there and asked it to write me a summary for the assessment on that. And that's the last time I've been in this. But now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, I am needing to write a diagnosis expansion for this patient. The new imaging is an MRI, which was 3/21/25, showed fear of labrum. Will you write a diagnosis expansion to add? Okay, what's the diagnosis I'm going to add? Let's see. I may look that up because I didn't even look that up yet. So let's see. ICD and thereof labrum. Which hip was it again? I cannot remember. Right hip. Tear of labrum, right hip. Okay. Tear of labrum, right hip. S73.191A. Well, see, that's a sprain. Okay. S73. Okay. Make sure that is not what she's got. S73.191. Okay. Will you write me that? Okay. So it's gonna write this smaller version here. So I got a purpose statement, I got a mechanism of injury, exam findings, but we'll ask it to expand on this. But this shouldn't be too difficult. We have MRI findings that show it. We're adding this to an already accepted case. Which reveal a tear of the labrum. Right hip. This condition coded represents a superior labral tear from anterior to posterior in the right hip, which is a direct result of a motor vehicle accident she experienced. Like a pretty good purpose statement to me. I'm going to copy and paste that. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I just copied and pasted that into the chief complaint here. So purpose of this expansion is this. Okay. Let's do this. Will you write me a detailed description of injury, explaining how the accident caused the labral tear? So it looks like we're trying to fill in this detailed description of injury here. Well, let's put these job duties in here. I'll just copy and paste that over from for other. So we want this. We'll put the new medical evidence in there. Okay. See what we come up with here. Okay, so what we got. On this date, while performing your job duties, you got a motor vehicle accident. Just re-explains it. Mechanism of injury, directly linked to the abrupt forceful impact of the collision during the accident. Rear end collision caused a rapid acceleration deceleration, which transmitted significant torsional and compressive forces through her body. Hips were in a flux position, making the hip joint particularly vulnerable to injury. The force of the collision will take likely out, caused her body to be thrust forward and then abruptly halted by the seatbelt, resulting in a sudden jarring motion. The motion would have placed excessive stress on the hip. We'll just put did, particularly at the labrum, which is a ring of cartilage. MRI confirmed the tear, known as superior labral tear. This type of tear is consistent with trauma-induced injuries. MRI conducted confirmed the tear. Good. Okay. Result from ongoing discomfort. Swelling as tear is also going to have the tenderness. In summary, the motor vehicle accident directly caused the labral tear. It's great, but we got to change a few words. So copy. And we're going to put this here. Description of injury category, but remember, we're going to change a few words because I didn't like all of it. So let's see. Mechanism of injury. The labral tear during the force of the collision, not likely. It caused her body to be thrust forward and then abruptly halted by the seatbelt, resulting in sudden jarring motion. This motion would have placed, then it did. This motion placed excessive stress on the hip joint, leading to a tear. Force forward, causing the labrum to tear at its most vulnerable point. This resulted in ongoing discomfort. Oh, sounds beautiful. Okay. So new medical evidence, we're gonna just put that MRI. MRI. And then we have that. What did it say? It said tear labrum. CT scan MRI report. Okay. Physical exam findings. So what this did is, since I'm doing a diagnosis expansion, the patient didn't come in, we got the MRI results and we're writing this for her. Up here, it actually found the exam findings from her last reeval that we did just a few weeks ago. She came in for a reevaluation. And this is when we ordered the MRI, but we have that there and it just summarized it, which is just the pertinent exam findings, which I think is great to put there. So I'm just going to put this here. So basically just summarized that she has ongoing discomfort and pain in her right hip, aggravated after physical therapy session, along with swelling in her lower leg. Examination revealed tenderness and palpation of the IT band area, right groin, right gluteal region, limited range of motion and hip flexion, extension, rotation accompanied by pain. Positive Faber test on the right further supports the presence of hip joint pathology consistent with the labral tear. Great. That's awesome. Imaging results. Let's copy that. And then paste. Accepted conditions. Well, we've got these accepted conditions here. Copy. And paste. Beautiful. Medical opinion for requested diagnosis expansion. Let's have it write that. Will you write me a detailed medical opinion for this requested diagnosis expansion? What do we get? What do we got here? In my professional medical opinion, the labral tear in her right hip, identified as this code, as a direct result of the motor vehicle accident she experienced while performing her duties as a carrier. Accepted her body stimulated by biomechanical forces. The labral tear is critical structure in the hip joint, providing stability and cushioning during the rear end collision. Ms. Jackson's body was thrust forward, then abruptly halted by the seatbelt, creating rapid acceleration, deaccelerations, place excessive torsional force, pressive forces, blah, blah, blah. This is great. See the position of her hip during the impact made the joint susceptible to injury. MRI conducted on this date confirmed the tear, consistent with the slap tear, trauma. Location, line, mechanism of injury supported the conclusion that the labral tear is a direct consequence of the accident. Clinical presentation further corroborates this diagnosis. This is great. Recaps the exam findings. Given the evidence from the MRI, clinical findings, detailed injury, it's clear that this labral tear in her right hip is directly attributable to the motor vehicle accident. Significant impact. This is great. Therefore, I strongly recommend the expansion to include this to her claim. That's beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. Copy and paste. Good. That's beautiful. Her plan is to continue with ordered. Sorry. Therapy. After complete physical exam and review of medical records, my medical opinion that is temporarily. No, she's not. That's not her work status. I think she is actually returned to work. What was it that we had on her last reeval? Medical reeval. What did we say? What did we say? Her work status. She's got restrictions. Okay. Whoops, where are we at? Oh, we really probably don't even need to say that for this expansion. I think our expansion's done, actually. We have this, we have this. We have exam findings. We have this nice detailed description of injury. Question is, do we want to put, I don't know, this looks very good. We're mentioning this diagnosis multiple times. So what we need to do is we need to add it here. Oh, well, it could be already added it. Yes. No, I think it looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna put, nope, I'm gonna hit ready for review. Put a time in from, we weren't at this for very long. But make it to there. Charges. Do that. I never can remember the code for the form. Special report. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we'll let our case managers review this. One other eyeballs on it. Let us know if there's anything else we need to add. We'll add our job duties here. Just copy that from somewhere else. Job description. Sweet. See how that looks. It look nice and pretty. Great. Here's our purpose. Here's our description of injury. Here's our exam, new medical evidence, exam findings, our accepted conditions, our professional opinion for the diagnosis that we're expanding. And then we will get it signed. That looks great. We'll sign it once we get signed off. But that's it. I hope that helps.